Yo, what's good YouTube? This is Jay from TNJ, and welcome back to the ALDS here in Game 2 and 3 as we face the New York Yankees. After a walk-off win in Game 1, we will have to face the MVP in Luis Severino in the AL. This is going to be a tough matchup. We saw what the Yankees could do with their lineup. They have an awesome lineup from top to bottom. And look at this convenience. They can hit Giancarlo Stanton in the 8th spot. That is just ridiculous. And we are going to have our work cut out here in the next 2 games as we do go to New York for 1 game and then return home to New Orleans for Game 3. So the matchup, Luis Severino, we know he's the MVP. 112 whip, 20 win season, 4 losses. And Tyler Glasnow, we're going to give him the ball. He took over as the 2nd spot in the rotation after Pablo Lopez went down earlier this season, and he will look to have a better playoff than he did regular season. So let's hop into the action as Mele Tapia, who was hitless in the first game, he hits one hard to the left side, and that is caught by Urshela. And now that brings up David Bode on the outside part of the plate. He just gets some wood on it. It's going to be a slow roller to Urshela again in the 2nd out of the inning as that brings up Yasiel Puig, and that is a 1-2-3 inning here for the New York Yankees as Luke Voight runs that one down. And now we move on to the bottom of the 1st. Let's see what Glasnow can do in the playoffs. Hopefully he will come through for us. The first batter is Andrew Benintendi. Yes, he is a Yankee now. He flies out to David Bode. And now that brings up Jose Iglesias in the 2-hole. And he's going to get walked that time. And that brings up Urshela, who went 3 for 5 in Game 1. Let's see what he does here. He gets a low inside fastball, and that's a strike 3 on a 98-mile-an-hour pitch. And that brings up Aaron Judge, the hero of Game 1. Went 3 for 5 as well, but he's just looking. That's strike 3. And Glasnow looks good. 2 strikeouts in the 1st inning. So let's move on to the 2nd. Another swing and miss. This time it's Andujar, and he will get thrown out at first by Corey Lee. And now we move on to Gleyber Torres hitting in the 6th hole. He's swinging and missing as well. Glasnow starts out hot. And that's his 4th strikeout already as Gary Sanchez comes up. They have so much power in their lineup, but he gets one low, and he stays on the pitch and drives it deep over the left field wall. That one went 390 feet, and it's gone. That's a 318-foot wall, though. And now the Yankees take the 1-0 lead here in the 2nd inning as Giancarlo Stanton hitting in that 8 hole. Like I said, he does swing and miss at a pitch in the dirt. So besides that home run, the Yankees do take the 1-0 lead, but Glasnow already has 5 strikeouts. That brings us to the top of the 3rd inning. Here is Billy Hamilton hitting in the 9 hole. He hits one to the left side, and it's in the hole. Let's see if he does have the speed to beat it out, and he does. He's on first with a leadoff single as that rolls over the lineup, and it brings up Tapia, who is 0 for 1 with that line out to 3rd. And here's Billy Hamilton trying to swipe a bag, and he's barely in there. He is safe. Seems like when I steal bags, I'm barely in there with the fastest guys, and the Yankees or the other opposing teams will steal with the slowest guys and get in there with probably a step or 2. And now here comes Tapia up to the plate. He just grounds out to first base, but moves Billy Hamilton over to first. That brings up David Bode. He just hits a slow roller to short. That's good enough to score the run from 3rd. And there is a 1-1 tie here in the 3rd. And now, here we go. Yasiel Puig at the plate. He has yet to get going so far yet in this series. Let's see if he will on this one. But he's just looking as well. It's a strike 3 call. And that one will tie the game up as we move on to the bottom of the 3rd inning. But Glasnow just continues to roll. He gets a strikeout on that pitch. And another one. That is going to be 6 strikeouts in 3 innings. As we move on to the 4th. Here's Gary Sanchez. He's swinging as well. Another strikeout. On to the 5th. Luke Voight at the plate. He's going to swing and miss. Glasnow is hot. Benintendi comes up one more time, and he swings and misses. 98-mile-an-hour all the way through the 5th inning. And that is how Glasnow starts this game out. The Yankees, besides that 1 home run, have been shut down by Tyler Glasnow on the mound. So we move on to the 6th inning. Here is David Bode at the plate. He hits one down the right field line, and it's going to be a single here. And let's see if we can finally get something going, as this is kind of a pitching duel with the MVP and Glasnow. Here's a ground ball up the middle, Puig, and it's a tailor-made double play. Puig has just not been getting going here in this series at all. So that brings up Jesus Aguilar, who does continue this inning, and he hits one hard up the middle away from the shift. And that is going to be a single here. But with 0 speed, we won't pinch run him because he's not in scoring position, or it's not really too crucial in the game. But here Jake Cave gets walked. So now guys on first and second here, and that brings up Marcus Semien, our highest paid player on the roster right now. He hits one to the right side, and that's Judge. He comes up throwing. Even if we had a faster runner, we wouldn't have sent him anyway. So now bases loaded. Scooter Gennett at the plate. 1-2 count. He gets one over the middle, and he won't miss. It's driven deep to right field, and that's a grand slam. Scooter Gennett comes through in the clutch. That was all with 2 outs, and Gennett makes it a 4-run lead here versus the MVP. So they decide to bring in Albert Abreu out of the bullpen, and Corey Lee comes up next, and that is going to be a strike 3 as we move on to the 7th. Glasnow is still on the mound, but it looks like his pitch count is getting up there. He's at about 90 pitches, and he gives up a leadoff single that time as it brings up Gary Sanchez in the 7th hole, who hits one hard to left field. He already went deep in this one, and it looks like that's going to be a gap shot. Billy Hamilton's waiting back on that one and gets it to the cutoff man. But guys on second and third, will we go to the bullpen here? We will. Ryan Stanek comes out of the bullpen. Not a great regular season, but hopefully in the playoffs, just like Glasnow just put on a performance, he does better. So that brings up Stanton in the 8th hole. Hits a hard liner to right field. It's caught by Puig. We're going to come up throwing, but they are going to score another run in this game. But still a 3-run lead here, as that brings up Luke Voight in the 9th hole, and he does get a pitch in the dirt, and that one does advance the runner to third base. So now a base hit does score a run, and now Luke Voight continues this at bat. And he will watch one on the inside part of the plate. That's exactly what I did not want to do, because that brings up Benintendi, who hits pretty well versus righties, and he does drive one deep to right center field. That one gets all the way to the wall, and it's fielded by Puig. And with 27 speed, Luke Voight will come all the way around to score 5-4 here in the 7th inning, kind of just like last game where we came back in the 8th. So that forces me to go to the bullpen. Joe Smith will come out, and he was our closer in Season 1. He came out of the bullpen here in Season 2. Let's see if we can shut him down. Here's a liner this time with 2 outs, 2 Scooter, and he's going to have it. And that one does get us out, but still a 1-run lead for us as we move on to the top of the 9th inning. Scooter Gennett starts it out, and he does get walked. All right, here we go. We got a man on first base. Let's see if we play some small ball here. Corey Lee at the plate. He's 0 for 3, and we don't need to. He gets walked as well. So now I definitely want to play some small ball as they go to their bullpen and bring in Adam Ottavino. And let's see. We have a good bunter at the plate. Billy Hamilton, let's see what we will do. We won't lay it down, and we strike out there, and that was on 2 strikes. And now that brings up Clint Frazier, who's hitting in the leadoff spot. I did pinch hit him this game, and he does strike out on that cut fastball. So that brings up David Bode. He's 1 for 4, hitting in the 2 hole. He led our team in average in the regular season. We can't leave these guys stranded. He hits one hard up the middle. Scooter, he's going to round third and head home. And Benintendi does come up throwing, and Scooter will slide in. So we do get 1 run of insurance here in the 9th inning. Let's try to stretch it to 2 with Corey Lee at second. He will surely score on a base hit. And on a 3-2 count, we do send both runners. Strike 3. And we move on to the 9th inning. We do keep Joe Smith in the game because remember last game we had this similar situation. We brought in Nate Jones, and he ended up giving up a walk-off, obviously. So we leave Joe Smith in. He's facing Gary Sanchez in the 7th hole. Ground ball to short, to second, to first. It's a double play. Nice turn by Semien and Scooter. And now with 2 outs in the inning, that brings up Stanton here in the 8th hole. I hate this lineup. Ground ball up the middle, and it's going to be a 3rd out of the inning. There we go. Joe Smith gets the save in this one, And there we go. We tie this series up at 1 apiece as we head back to New Orleans and go to the Superdome. And that's a great outing by Tyler Glasnow. 6 1/3 inning pitch, 11 strikeouts. We needed that. So now we move on to Game 3. We return home in a matchup with James Paxton, the lefty, versus Jose Urquidy. I decided to give him the ball here in Game 3. I had a choice between he and Forrest Whitley. I decided to go with Urquidy just because he has the most experience at the MLB level, and he's going up against James Paxton, who's no slouch at all. 1.25 whip, 16-9 in the regular season, and we return home, and up comes Andrew Benintendi leading off Game 3, and Urquidy walks him. So that's a bad way to start out Game 3. Man on first base, Jose Iglesias at the plate. Ground ball to second. And let's see what Scooter does. He does throw it to second, and he does get the force out. That was definitely a risky throw. So that brings up Urshela, line to the right side, and it's off the glove of Jesus Aguilar, but he does go to second with it and does get the force out. Good thing the runner was not moving on that one. I would have went back to the bag too. That brings up Aaron Judge in the 4-hole, and he's going to ground out. That's a hard ball hit to David Bode, but he corrals it, gets the out at first, and now we move on to the bottom of the first inning as Billy Hamilton gets the leadoff spot in this one. I moved Tapia down and moved Billy Hamilton up. I wanted Tapia to get on base, and that was just not what he was doing in the first couple of games. That brings up David Bode in the 2-hole. He's just watching that one on the outside part, and he does draw a walk. And it brings up Yasiel Puig. I need him to come through. Ground ball to second, though. And they are going to just go to first with this one. It was a slow roller. And now a man on second base with a chance to take the 1-0 lead here in the first inning. Jesus Aguilar at the plate. He gets a hanger, and he is just going to ground out to third. Urshela does corral it. Throw it to first. And now it's 0-0 going into the third inning. As now that brings up Luke Voight hitting in the 9-hole. What a lineup they have. They have Luke Voight hitting in the 9-hole. He goes to right center, and that is going to be off the wall. Puig will field it and come up throwing to the cutoff man. But a man on second base here with one out here in the third inning as the Yankees go to the top of their lineup here. Benintendi, who comes up clutch again. A line shot up the middle, and that is going to score a runner from second. Luke Voight comes around, and that is going to be a 1-0 lead here for the Yankees again. And now we move on to the next batter. That's Jose Iglesias. Hit and run situation on. They do swing and miss. And we throw to second. Corey Lee with the perfect gun. And he does get the runner out at second, trying to swipe the bag. And that is going to be a tag out for the second out of the inning as the at-bat continues. And Iglesias does get a hit up the middle. So maybe just a bad situational hit and run on that one, as that brings up Urshela there in the 3rd hole, and he hits one up the middle. So now guys on first and second once again, guys in scoring position. This is what Jose Urquidy does. He gives up hits, but he does settle down, and he does get Aaron Judge to swing and miss at the outside slider. Now that brings us to the bottom of the 3rd inning. Here is Clint Frazier, who got the start in this one. He goes to right center field, and he does start it out with a double here in the 3rd. Definitely what we needed. And he is subbing in for Tapia. And that brings up Billy Hamilton as this lineup does roll over. He is 0 for 1 in this game, but lays down a perfect bunt down the 3rd baseline. But look at the play by Urshela. That is an out. That's a man, that is an athletic play on that one, as it brings up Bode in the 2 hole. He goes down the right field line. That one will score the runner from 3rd base, and Bode does slide in safe. And there we go, 1-1. It's just been a back and forth series. Both teams score runs, and now that brings up Puig. Let's see if he can finally come through, but he does fly out to Benintendi. Will we tag the runner? No, he won't, because Benintendi has a pretty good arm in center. And that brings up Jesus Aguilar in the 4 hole. He's been good for us. He drives one deep to left center. That one will reach the gap. And there we go, 2-1 in this game. Let's see if Jesus Aguilar gets in safe, though, at second. He's only got 0 speed in a good slide, and he will avoid the tag. And now the manager comes out to check on Paxton on the mound. That brings up Jake Cave up in the 5 hole, who hits one hard up the middle. And Jesus Aguilar, they were playing the outfield deep. He will score on that one, even with his 0 speed. 3-1 here in the 3rd inning. Jake Cave has been pretty good for us since we acquired him. And that brings up Semien, who comes up, ground ball to second, force out at first. And now we have the 3-1 lead here going into the middle parts of this game. As we move on to the 4th inning, Corey Lee, the young promising prospect up at catcher this year. He does drive the ball to right center. That one reaches the wall. We have hit a lot of balls to the gap in this series, as that brings up Scooter Jeanette in the 8th hole. He hits one to left, and that one will get all the way to the wall down the left field line. He goes the opposite field, lefty on lefty crime. 4-1 here for the Kings. And now we have a lead. We have to protect it, but there's still no outs in this inning. That brings up Clint Frazier hitting in the 9 hole, who drives one deep to left field. That one does have the carry, but just absolutely dies in the air. It's caught in left field. I thought that was driven deep, as it brings up Bode, another hanger, and he drives it deep to left center, and we will just not score any more runs in this inning. Wow, Bode, if he just would have waited back a little bit longer on that one, he could have went to opposite field. Instead, it's a fly ball, as now we move into the 5th inning. Jose Urquidy, he's doing pretty good. He's got 5 strikeouts through 5 1/3. That brings up Benintendi, who always hits the ball hard. That's a ground out to second base. And now 2 outs here in the 5th inning, with a chance to move on to the 6th. With only a 3-run lead, drive to left field. Clint Frazier runs it down. As we move on to the 5th, as Jake Cave comes up, he already has driven one deep. He drives one over the middle of the plate, and that one will get over the wall. That is a home run, the first of the playoffs for him. And he already has an RBI in this game. He does extend this lead to 4 runs. And there we go. Jake Cave, I love what he does at that 5 spot. I think that's his sweet spot in the lineup, as it brings up Marcus Semien in the 6th spot, who drives one to right field, just gets by the glove of the first baseman. And we do get another double here in this game. So many doubles for us. We are just a gap-hitting team. That's what we do. We don't hit too many home runs. We just get a lot of gap shots. As now that brings up Albert Abreu out of the bullpen again. They really trust him. He was pitching in Game 2. I believe he did pitch in Game 1 as well. So that does bring up the next batter, who is just going to fly out to Benintendi in center field. But Jake Cave does extend this lead. So now we move on to the 6th inning, and look at Urquidy on the mound. He has just settled down and just throwing smoke now. He gets a strikeout, and that brings up the next batter. That's Torres, I believe, and he does hit one to the right side. And we are through 6 innings, and Urquidy only giving up 1 run. Very unorthodox territory for our pitchers in this episode. We're used to seeing these guys give up runs, especially versus a great Yankees lineup. But that moves us on to the 7th inning. We bring in Luke O'Connor out of the bullpen. Urquidy does get tired, and that does bring up a double by Giancarlo Stanton. And now that brings up the last hitter in the lineup. That's Luke Voight, who's going to swing and miss at an inside fastball. That was way out of the zone, as that brings up Benintendi, who hits one hard down the left field line. And it's going to be fair. And that one will score a runner from second base. And Voight does trim this lead. Not Voight, that's Benintendi. He does trim this lead down to 3 runs, as it brings up Jose Iglesias, who's 1 for 3 in this game. He's just swinging and missing an outside curveball. And man, our pitching staff is doing phenomenal in these last 2 games, as it brings up Puig, who hits one hard up the middle, and it will finally get him going in this series. He starts out the 7th with a single. Now that brings up Jake Cave, already 2 for 3 in this game. He drives one deep to center field, and it's back at the track, and it will sneak over. Another home run by Jake Cave. 3 for 4 day, 2 home runs, 4 RBIs, and he extends this lead to 5 runs, 7-2 here in the 7th. And what we've done all series, we need to do again. We bring in somebody out of the bullpen to close this game out here in the 9th inning, as we bring in Chris Davinsky, as he does give up another home run from the Yankees. this is what they do. That's Gary Sanchez again. And these guys just have power. This is how they score runs. They hit home runs. They don't really hit for average too well, but they have the power. As that brings up the next batter. That's going to be Iglesias, who does hit one off of the pitcher, off of Davinsky. And I don't know. He doesn't look good. So we decide to go to our bullpen. We bring in Craig Stamin, the 37-year-old relief pitcher. He has a 117 whip on the season, but he's been doing phenomenal even at his age. And here, the last batter comes up and drives one to right field, but it's going to be a can of corn for Yasiel Puig. 7-3 here as we return home and we take the 2-1 lead here in the ALDS off of 14 hits. Jake Cave, MVP of this game, 2 home runs, 4 RBIs. You can't ask for a better game from a guy. Look at both of our lefties in our lineup, 3 for 4 versus a left-handed pitcher who started this game, James Paxton, who gave up 9 hits. We spoiled his playoff debut, and Urquidy pitched amazing. 6 innings, 5 hits, 1 earned, 6 strikeouts. That is just incredible from him. So, next episode, we will close out this series. So we will play Game 4, Game 5 if necessary, and hopefully we move on to the ALCS with the win. So hit subscribe, hit that like button, stay tuned. Let's get it. Let's go.
I be trying to do me, but they be trying to copy though. Only problem with that is they not me though. People act cool, but really they be shiesty though. They say they got your back, but they ain't even behind me though. I be low key, but police be trying to find me.